Israel Briefers from around the world, welcome to it. Thank you for joining me, Rolene Marks, on today's edition of the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by these guys, Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel. Because, hey, can we really trust the mainstream media anymore? I don't think so. Just a reminder that today is Wednesday, which means tomorrow is Thursday. Now, why am I reminding you about Thursday? Because every Thursday I bring you the mensch, the good person or people, and the moron, pretty self-explanatory, of the week. Now, this week's moron list seems to feature a lot of recommendations for a certain protagonist. Join me tomorrow to find out who it is. And also a reminder, if you have any questions that you would like answered on the brief, please pop them in the comments section below or via our social media. Today is day 607 since the atrocities of the 7th of October. And it is your daily reminder that we still have 58 hostages languishing in the hell of Gaza, starving and tortured. We want all of them home now, the living to start that long process of recovery, and the dead to be laid to rest with dignity. Now, world leaders, the media, many around the world are forgetting about the plight of our hostages. We will keep reminding you until every single one of them are home. So with that said, let's take a look at the top stories. And the IDF intercepted for a third consecutive night a ballistic missile fired towards Israel. Now, this was from the Houthis, the Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen, who Israel does not share a border with. And the Houthis have been firing at Israel since the 7th of October, starting with the southernmost tip of Eilat and moving progressively further inland. They are aiming for Ben Gurion Airport and thank goodness have been unsuccessful. Now, debris from the interception fell in my city, in Modi'in, where I live, and thank goodness there weren't any injuries or, heaven forbid, casualties. Also last night, for the first time since November, a missile was fired from Syria towards the Israeli side of the Golan Heights. Now, this missile was intercepted, and Syrian authorities said that it is not them, that they will never be a threat to anyone in the region, but that it could be any one of numerous parties. Now, if you remember, in December, the Assad regime fell, and there are entities within Syria that are extremely hostile to the state of Israel. Israel responded by firing artillery fire towards the launch site of the rockets. COGAT, that is the unit responsible for humanitarian aid in Gaza and the territories, have confirmed that 157 trucks carrying flour and food entered the Gaza Strip yesterday. Now, some of them went to the new aid distribution centers, which are closed today for logistical reasons. And many of the trucks offloaded their cargo on the Gaza side of the Kerem Shalom crossing, and they are still waiting for distribution. I also urge everybody to put into your browser COGAT, C-O-G-A-T, Humanitarian Aid, and monitor for yourself the amount of aid, the breakdown, which crossings they are coming through, who is responsible, so that you can track it yourself. It appears that the mainstream media, and we have been speaking about this a lot, I certainly went off on a bit of a tangent yesterday, have been parroting Hamas, who are an internationally recognized terrorist organization. So rather than just parroting what Hamas says, you can go and see the reality on the ground for yourself. Hostage families met with representatives of the Trump administration at the White House yesterday. The representatives reiterated that the administration is fully committed to ensuring the release of all of the hostages. They also condemned the terror attack that took place on Saturday at Boulder in Colorado, which saw Mohammed Suleiman, an Egyptian illegal immigrant, throw Molotov cocktails at a group of pro-Israel ralliers. I won't say protesters because they weren't protesting anything, and several of them were set alight, including an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. Now, Suleiman's family have been arrested by ICE and will likely be deported. Meanwhile, White House spokesperson Carolyn Levitt took aim at the BBC and other media, saying the White House generally does not accept what Hamas says as fact. They do their own investigation, and she encourages the media to do the same. But she particularly singled out the BBC and read a list of headlines where they basically parrot whatever Hamas has to say. So she has put the media on notice and says there will be repercussions for those media outlets who are just saying whatever Hamas says. And finally, some good news. Israel's Ministry of Defense announced earlier today that Israel's all-time defense export record has been broken for the fourth consecutive year. This year, the trade has amounted to $14.7 billion, a 13% increase on the previous year, and over 50% of those sales come from Europe. So it just goes to prove that when it comes to technology, especially defense technology, Israel is robust and strong. So let's get into the audience question of the day, and it comes from Annie Lenk, who says, the Hamas leadership mostly have been taken out. Who is declining or allowing the release of hostages? Is it Iran or Qatar? Annie, a very, very, very pertinent question, because we do know that Hamas is funded by Iran. They are a proxy of Iran. Iran were involved, they were instrumental in the planning and execution of the 7th of October, and you can be sure they have an influence over the hostages. But what role does Qatar play? Now, Qatar are mediators, they have the ear of Hamas, but since they do have the ear of Hamas, surely they can impress upon Hamas to release all of the hostages, and this war comes to an end. The war comes to an end. Meanwhile, Qatar continue to give asylum to Hamas leadership, who are living the life of Riley in Doha, in 6-7 star hotels with hookers and whatever they want, while the people of Gaza have to endure a war. Qatar's influence is very, very, very spread out, including governments and mainstream media outlets. But we will continue to call it out wherever we see it. So those are your top stories for today. Guys, don't forget to get those questions and your mentions and morons through to me. Tune in tomorrow to see who the winners this week are. In the meantime, please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. Guys, please do us a solid. If you like our content, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. We are on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks. I had to think of my name for a second. Hey, who can blame me? We're on Instagram at Rolene_Marks, on Facebook /Meta at Lotlsite, that's LOTLSITE, and on X at Lay of the Land 5. Guys, God bless you all. Thank you for being my strength and stay, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.